Welcome back to Return to Inner Light. I am Hui Guang, and I am so grateful you've chosen to spend this moment with me. In a world full of noise and distraction, you've made a beautiful choice to pause, to breathe, and to turn inward. Whether you are joining us for the first time or returning as an old friend, know that this space is yours, a sanctuary for your soul. Today, let's walk together on this path of ancient wisdom and timeless peace. We're all holding onto something tightly. No one wants to admit they're living an exhausting life, but the weariness is truly written in everyone's eyes. We hold on to past wounds, hold on to fears of the future, hold on to people and things that no longer belong to us. We think the tighter we grip, the safer we are. Yet we don't realize it is precisely this tight grip that makes our hearts heavier and heavier. I used to be the same way. As a corporate executive, I was used to being in control of everything. I thought as long as I worked hard enough, I could grasp success, grasp happiness, grasp everything I wanted, until middle age, when life dealt me a heavy blow. I lost what I thought I would never lose. That was the darkest moment of my life. It was at that moment that I encountered Buddhism. The Buddha's wisdom told me that suffering doesn't come from loss, but from attachment. When I learned to let go, I finally discovered that freedom had always been there, waiting for me. I want to share with you 10 methods the Buddha taught me for letting go of attachments. These aren't profound theories, but real insights I've verified with my own life. Whatever you are going through, I hope these words can be a ray of light in your darkness. Many people's suffering isn't because of what is happening now, but because of what happened in the past. We replay those scenes that hurt us over and over, chew on those words that broke our hearts again and again, as if thinking about it enough could somehow change something. The Buddha said the past mind cannot be grasped. It means the past no longer exists. It only lives in your memory. And memory is a choice. You can choose to keep feeding those painful memories, or you can choose to let them slowly fade away. There was an old Zen master traveling with his young disciple. They came to a river and saw a young woman standing by the bank, worried because she didn't dare cross the river alone. Without a word, the old Zen master carried the woman on his back across the river, then put her down and continued on his way. After walking for a long time, the young disciple finally couldn't help but ask, "Master, aren't monks supposed to stay away from women? How could you carry her across the river?" The old Zen master smiled and said, "I put her down a long time ago. Why are you still carrying her?" This story deeply touched me. I once spent a long time blaming myself for a decision I made in my career. I kept thinking, if I had chosen a different path back then, would everything be different? This thought tormented me for a long time, until one day I realized I can't go back to the past, but I can decide how to live now. Letting go of the past isn't pretending it never happened, but acknowledging that it is already over. You don't need to forgive those who hurt you, but you can choose to stop. Every time you choose to live in the present, you are giving yourself a chance at rebirth. We have too many expectations of others, expecting our partner to always understand us, expecting our children to live according to our wishes, expecting friends to show up whenever we need them. When these expectations fall through, we feel disappointed, angry, even resentful. Buddha once told us a man was shot by a poisoned arrow, and his friends wanted to help him pull out the arrow and treat the wound. But the man said, "Wait, I need to first know who shot the arrow, what he looks like, what kind of bow he used, and what wood the arrow shaft is made of." He kept asking these questions, but refused to let anyone pull out the arrow. The result was predictable. While he was asking these questions, the poison spread, and he lost his chance to be saved. Our expectations of others are like those meaningless questions. They can't change reality. They only deepen our suffering. Everyone is living their life in their own way, doing their best. Their behavior reflects their own inner state, not your worth. When you stop expecting others to be what you imagine them to be, you can start appreciating who they really are. I learned something. I can love someone, but I can't demand that they love me in the way I expect. When I let go of this expectation, my relationships actually became more relaxed and more genuine. We're taught from a young age to set goals and work hard to achieve them. But the problem is, we often tie our self-worth to the results. If I succeed, I am valuable. If I fail, I am a failure. Buddha taught us to focus on the action itself, rather than being attached to the outcome. It means you give your all in doing things, but you don't build your happiness on a specific outcome. Imagine a farmer planting seeds in spring. He can choose the best seeds, carefully cultivate the land, water, and fertilize on time. But he can't control the weather, can't control whether there will be pests, can't control what is happening deep in the soil. All he can do is do his best. Then trust the earth and time. If he anxiously stares at the ground every day, worrying the seeds won't sprout, he won't make the seeds grow faster. He'll only exhaust himself. When my career was at its peak, I thought success was something I deserved. When everything collapsed, I finally understood that outcomes were never something I could fully control. But what I can control is the mindset I use to face each day. When you let go of your attachment to outcomes, you'll find that the process itself is the reward. Effort itself has meaning. It doesn't need results to prove it. We spend too much time trying to make others think we're good enough. We adjust our words and actions just to get a nod, a compliment, an approving look. When that approval doesn't come, we start doubting ourselves. Buddha said, seeking outward brings only suffering. When your happiness depends on others' opinions, you've handed your heart over to them. You become a kite blown around by others' views, never finding a stable place to land. There is a story about a painter who finished a work he was quite satisfied with. He placed the painting in the marketplace with a pen beside it, asking passers-by to mark any spots they thought were flawed. By the end of the day, the entire painting. The next day, he painted the same picture again, but this time he asked passers-by to mark the parts they thought were wonderful. As it turned out, the same painting was once again covered with marks. The painter finally understood that no matter what he did, some people would like it and some wouldn't. The only thing he could do was paint what he himself thought was good. True confidence isn't believing you are always right, but knowing that even if you make mistakes, even if you are criticized, you are still whole. Your worth doesn't need anyone to prove it. It is something you were born with. I used to care so much about what others thought of me, especially at work. I needed everyone's approval to feel at ease. When I lost that identity, I realized that all that approval had never truly filled the void inside me. Real peace comes when you no longer need to prove anything. Perfectionism looks like high standards, but it is actually a form of fear. Fear of not being good enough, fear of rejection, fear of failure. We use perfection to protect ourselves, not realizing that this protection is actually a prison. The Buddha never demanded perfection. What he taught was the middle way. Don't go to extremes. Don't be too hard on yourself, and don't indulge yourself either. He once told his disciples that it is like the strings of a lute, too tight, and they'll snap too loose, and there is no sound. Only when the tension is just right can beautiful music be played. The Buddha himself went from extremes to the middle way. He was born in a royal palace and enjoyed the ultimate luxury. Later, he renounced the world to practice and tried extreme asceticism, starving until he was skin and bones. In the end, he discovered that neither of these extremes could bring true liberation. True wisdom lies in finding balance. Life is not an exam that requires a perfect score. It is more like a journey. What matters is not that every step is right, but that you keep walking. You can make mistakes, you can fall, you can be imperfect. These are all part of life. I spent many years trying to be a perfect executive, a perfect family member, a perfect friend. When everything fell apart, I realized that the imperfect me was the real me. And being real is more powerful than. Our hearts naturally love comfort, familiarity, and safety. This is human instinct. But if we only stay in our comfort zone, we can never grow. The Buddha could have stayed in the palace his whole life, enjoying wealth and glory. But he chose to leave that comfortable world and walk toward the unknown path of practice. Not because he didn't like comfort, but because he knew that true freedom isn't found in comfort, but in having the ability to face discomfort. Every time you step out of your comfort zone, you are telling yourself, I am stronger than I thought. Every time you face fear, instead of running away, you are expanding the boundaries of your life. After losing everything, I was forced to leave the world I knew. It was extremely uncomfortable, but it was that experience that led me to encounter Buddhism, to encounter my true self. Looking back now, those most uncomfortable days were the most important turning point in my life. Comfort makes us complacent, but discomfort makes us grow. We want to know what will happen tomorrow, want to know if this relationship will last, want to know if this decision is the right one. We crave certainty because uncertainty makes us anxious. But the Buddha tells us that impermanence is the truth of life. Everything is changing, nothing is eternal. This might sound unsettling, but actually this is the greatest. There is a story about a mother who came to the Buddha carrying her child who had died from illness, asking the Buddha to bring the child back to life. The Buddha said, I can help you, but first you need to find something. Bring me a mustard seed from a household that has never experienced losing a loved one. This mother went from door to door asking, only to find that every household had experienced loss. In the end, she understood that loss and impermanence are something everyone must face. She was not alone. Because of impermanence, suffering won't last forever. Because of impermanence, you always have the chance to start over. Because of impermanence. Every moment is new, is precious. I used to be very afraid of uncertainty. I wanted to control everything, plan everything. When life told me that many things were beyond my control, I felt like I was falling apart at first. But later I learned that instead of fighting uncertainty, it is better to embrace it. When you accept uncertainty, you actually feel a strange sense of freedom. You no longer need to know all the answers, you just need to trust that no matter what happens, you can handle it. Each of us has a story about ourselves in our hearts. I am successful. I am a failure. I am a victim. I am strong. We cling tightly to these stories thinking this is who we are. But the Buddha taught us that these stories are all fabrications of the mind. They are not the real you. The real you is more vast and more free than any story. There is a famous koan in Zen Buddhism. A monk asked the Zen master, "What is Buddha?" The master replied, "Who are you?" The monk said, "I am so-and-so." The master said, "That so-and-so is the name your parents gave you. It is your identity. It is your story. But that is not the real you. The real you existed before the name and remains complete beyond the story. When you are no longer bound by your self-image, you can respond to life more flexibly. You don't need to maintain an image, don't need to prove anything. You can simply exist, simply respond to the present moment." I used to strongly identify with my professional identity. When that identity disappeared, I felt like I disappeared too. But later I discovered that identity was never the real me. The real me had always been there, just hidden by those stories when I let go of those stories. I actually found a more authentic self. We're always comparing income, achievements, appearance, children, houses. Social media has made this comparison even crazier. We look at other people's carefully curated lives and feel our own lives are dull and dim. Buddha said comparison is one of the roots of suffering, because you can always find someone better than you and always find someone worse than you. This comparison has no end, only exhaustion. There is a story about a crow that was originally very happy, until one day it saw a swan and thought the swan was so white and beautiful, while it was so black and ugly. It went to ask the swan, "You must be the happiest bird." The swan said, "I used to think so too, until I saw the parrot. It has so many colors." The crow went to ask the parrot. The parrot said, "I used to think I was very happy too, until I saw the peacock." The crow finally came to the zoo and saw many people gathered around watching the peacock. It asked the peacock, "You must be the happiest bird, so many people come to see you." The peacock sighed and said, "I once thought I was very lucky too, but because of my beauty, I am locked up here. I've lost my freedom. I've observed that the only bird in the zoo that isn't caged is the crow. If I could choose, I'd rather be a crow. Everyone's life is unique. What you see of other people's lives is just the surface. You don't know their struggles, their fears, their tears in the middle of the night. Comparing your inside to other people's outside, that is not fair to you. The only meaningful comparison is to ask yourself, am I a little kinder today than yesterday? A little calmer, a little more authentic? This is the only progress worth pursuing. This is the most fundamental lesson. Our minds have an instinct to grasp, grasping for happiness, grasping for security, grasping for love, grasping for meaning. We think that by grasping we can possess, yet we don't realize that it is precisely this grasping that robs us of our freedom. The Buddha used a metaphor to illustrate this point. Imagine you are holding a handful of sand. The tighter you grip, the faster the sand slips away. But if you open your palm, the sand can rest there peacefully. There is another story about two monks who saw a piece of wood floating by at the riverside. The young monk said, "That piece of wood is so lucky." The old monk said, "It can reach the sea because it meets 4 conditions. First, it wasn't caught by branches on the shore. Second, it didn't sink to the bottom. Third, it wasn't fished out by someone. Fourth, it didn't rot away on its own." Our lives are the same. Don't get stuck in the past. Don't sink under desires. Don't get fished out by others' expectations. Don't let your heart rot away. Only then can we flow freely toward the ocean of life. Letting go isn't giving up, isn't indifference, isn't not caring. Letting go is a higher form of love. It is loving without possessing, striving without clinging, giving your all without being held hostage by the outcome. It took me a long time to understand this. Letting go is not losing, but gaining. When you loosen your tight grip, you'll find that your heart becomes more open. Your life becomes lighter. The things you thought you'd lose, these are the 10 methods Buddha taught me to let go of attachment. They're not techniques you can master overnight, but lessons that take a lifetime to practice. But every time you choose to let go, even just a little bit, you are taking a step toward inner freedom. I want to tell you, no matter what you are going through right now, no matter what you are holding tightly in your hands and refusing to let go, you are not alone. I once stood where you stand. I know that feeling of holding on tight, and I also know the fear of letting go. But I also know that the moment you finally let go, you'll feel a lightness like never before. That is true. That is the light your heart has been searching for all along. It has never left you. It has always been there, waiting for you to come back. Thank you for your company today. May you leave with peace. May you remember in every corner of your life that letting go is not losing, but returning. Returning to the most authentic, most free, most complete you. May you always remember to return to that light within you.